hello there. I assume that you're here for another bookshelf tour, right? That's what I thought. You know, we're gonna have to talk about this whole breaking and entering thing, because you realize this is a private library, right? It's not a public library. You know what? Don't worry about it. It's okay. I get it. You don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. May as well just hang out here together, right? We're cool. Let's go ahead and start part 2 of my vintage horror bookshelf tour. So here is shelf number 6, and in the last part of my horror paperback bookshelf tour, I showed you Carnivore by Lee Clark. Here is another Lee Clark book. This is The Feeding, definitely the more popular of the two. Great cover on that one. Next we have a nice selection of Simon Clark books. This one is called Stranger, In This Skin, Death's Dominion, This Rage of Echoes, and Ghost Monster. I found a lot of these books recently, so I haven't read any of them yet, but definitely let me know which of these I should start with. Cradle to the Grave by Susan Claudia. Several books by Douglas Clegg. First up is Breeder. Neverland, Dark of the Eye, The Halloween Man, The Nightmare Chronicles, You Come When I Call You, Mischief, Naomi, Night Cage, which he wrote under the name Andrew Harper. It's still Douglas Clegg though. Lorelei by Mark A. Clements. I also have a hardcover of this over on my hardcover shelf. Stigma by Bill Clendenin. Awkward last name to say aloud. Damon by C. Terry Klein Jr. Prey, also by C. Terry Klein. A couple of books by Frank Coffey. We have The Night Prayers and The Shaman. Sunglasses After Dark, signed copy. Its sequel, Tempter, by Nancy A. Collins, and Wild Blood, also by Nancy A. Collins. Moving down to the next shelf, we have a couple of copies of Callie. These are both published by Zebra, but they are 2 different editions. Brass by Robert J. Conley. The Hampton Sisters by Bernard F. Connors. Really cool step back art on that one. Child's Play by Sal Conti. Coma by Robin Cook. Next we're going to look at all of my Matthew J. Costello books. The first one is Sleep Tight. Midsummer, Worm, Darkborn, Captain Quad by Sean Costello, Vampire Beat by Vincent Courtney, and its sequel, Harvest of Blood. Another Vincent Courtney book, Let's Pretend You're Dead, and Goblins, also by Vincent Courtney. The Sharing by Martha Moffat and Cy Cook, Out for Blood by John Peyton Cook, The Searing by John Coyne. Another book by John Coyne is Hobgoblin. This was one that was featured in Paperbacks from Hell. And Hunting Season, also by John Coyne. Creepers by Robert Craig. Christmas Ghosts, an anthology. The Foretelling by Caroline Crane. The Legacy by Gier Cunningham. The Visitor, also by Gier Cunningham. Scarecrow by Richie Tankersley Cusick, who is better known for her young adult horror books, like the books that she published for Point Horror. I'm really curious to check out her adult books though, because that looks so cool. Next is Richie Tankersley Cusick's other adult work, Blood Roots. Moving on to the last 2 shelves in this part, we are wrapping up the C's. Here is Seventh Sacrament by Roland Cutler. Blood Beast by Don DeMassa. Blind Hunger by David Dark. Shade by David Dark. And Last Rites by David Dark. Sins of the Flesh by Don Davis and Jay Davis. Fantastic step back art. This is amazing. One of my favorite covers. It's actually a pretty common book though. By the same authors, we have Bring On the Night. Again, awesome step back art. Forbidden Objects by Maggie Davis. Halo by Chet Day. Very rare book, this one. Voodoo by Jeffrey Wilds Deaver. That cover just kind of cracks me up. Dusk by Ron D. Audrey Rose by Frank De Felitta. Oktoberfest, also by Frank De Felitta. And Golgotha Falls, A Lovely Monster by Rick De Marinas. Caliban and Other Tales by Robert Devereaux. The Wanting Factor by Jean Deweese. A Different Darkness by Jean Deweese. The Haven by Graham Diamond. Shadow of the Beast by Gerald DePego. Fangs by William Dobson. Family Closets by Marjorie Dorner. Also by Marjorie Dorner, Freeze Frame. Undertow by Drake Douglas. And Creature by Drake Douglas. The Valancourt Paperbacks from Hell reprint of The Nest by Gregory A. Douglas, as well as the original edition of The Nest. Just a crazy, fantastic book. The Unholy Smile, also by Gregory A. Douglas. Lagoon by Allison Drake. A few books by Lee Dugan, Lifeblood. Schoolhouse, a really fun book. Precog. And Mind Stealer. And I always thought the guy on the cover of this book kind of looks like Grady Hendrix, who wrote Paperbacks from Hell. I'm sensing some kind of conspiracy here. The Pines by Robert Dunbar. Demonic Color by Pauline Dunn. And this actually has a clipping in it that talks about the interesting history of this author. You can pause the video and read that. It's pretty fascinating. The Crawling Dark, also by Pauline Dunn. The Dead of Autumn by H.P. Dunn. Unquenchable by David Vorkin. Totem by Aaron M. Ely. Evil Eye, also by Aaron M. Ely. How Dear the Dawn by Mark Elliott. A very battered copy of Horror Hunters. Body Mortgage by Richard Engling. Black Ambrosia by Elizabeth Engstrom. And Lizzie Borden by Elizabeth Engstrom. Borderland by S.K. Epperson. The Shapeshifter by Elizabeth Argas. Devil's Gate by Elizabeth Argas. The Mountain King by George Ernsberger. Hellbane by Anthony Esler. Dark Side by Dennis Etchison. Meta Horror, edited by Dennis Etchison. And I do have a few more Etchison books that I will show you at the beginning of part 3. Thank you, creeps, so much for watching part 2 of my vintage horror bookshelf tour. I'll be back very, very soon for part 3. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like just down below. It only takes a second, and I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Library Macabre. Later, creeps.